Revolution. A sudden, radical, or complete change. A fundamental change in the way of thinking about or visualizing something. The American Revolution. In 1776, our young colonies realized that the oppression of the British Crown on their daily lives would lead to complete tyranny if something was not done. Men like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Nathan Hale decided to lead our 13 colonies in a revolution against the British Crown. After sacrificing their homes, their wealth, their families, and their lives, these colonial forces achieved victory for the cause of freedom. The chains of foreign armies, incredulous taxes, and oppressive government were broken, and the United States of America was born. Today, we enjoy freedom and liberty in the greatest country in the world because of a group of people who saw a need for a revolution. Many great men sacrificed their lives, and many families lost loved ones for the cause of this revolution. Yet, only a few years later, America's independence was again challenged by England during the War of 1812. For a second time, America suffered many casualties for the cause of freedom. Nearly 60 years later, America's resolve was tested again through the division of our nation during the Civil War of the 1860s. But starting in the 1950s, a new purpose began to rage in the hearts of Americans. For the first time, American teenagers were running away from responsibilities rather than toward the challenges of life. The hearts of American teens that were once filled with respect were now filled with rebellion. The young people of the 1960s envisioned a new freedom. Freedom from rules, from war, from accountability. A new culture was born. An uprising that would be known as the Cultural Revolution.
Say you want a revolution.
A new style of music was introduced, and crowds flocked to their concerts. War was raging in Vietnam, yet this new culture of teenagers was not willing to sacrifice anything to help others. In fact, they burned their draft cards, rioted in the streets, and protested the very soldiers who were fighting for their freedom. These teenagers pulled at the so-called shackles of responsibility and duty, shackles which kept them, they thought, from their true freedoms of love and peace. This is the Cultural Revolution that is destroying our society, our government, and our homes. And from the riots and rebellion of the 1960s, a culture of free love dominated the 1970s. The Hippie Nation that followed the Rolling Stones and Pink Floyd attempted to find their stairway to heaven through sex, drugs, and music. This mindset spilled over into the 1980s, where rebellion continued to develop. Immorality, homosexuality, and divorce began to grow exponentially. The unprecedented adoration of movie stars and pop culture icons in the 1990s led the way for the Generation Xers into the new millennium and the digital age. 2010, church attendance is at an all-time low. Bible colleges are shutting their doors and selling their buildings. The internet provides easy access to pornography. Rock, R&B, and rap music dominate the MP3 players of even Christian teenagers. Television is no longer Leave It to Beaver or Andy Griffith, but rather South Park, Gossip Girl. The list goes on. Satan and his army are on the offensive. while Christian teenagers are backpedaling on their faith at an alarming rate. What about you? Christians, it's time to take back what is ours. It's time for a spiritual revolution. God is looking for a few good men and a few good women who are willing to put it all on the line for the cause of Christ. How about it, teenager? Are you ready to join forces with the ranks of men like Jack Scott, Eddie Lapina, and Ray Young in order to make a difference in our world for generations to come? This is it, teenager. Are you willing? Are you able? Are you ready for a revolution? Here we go with Youth Conference 2010. We're ready for a spiritual revolution. Are you? Then let's stand and cheer for those who have the battle plan laid out for us. Your Youth Conference 2010 preachers and General Jack Scott.